starting to read. Able to see? From Srimad Bhagavatam 1 point. So now we are starting to read from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.10.16. Okay. Just 1 minute. I'm just checking if the streaming is going on or not. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.10.16. Prasadashikararuಢa Kurunaryo Didikshaya Vivrushu Kusumai Krishnam Prema Vrida Smitekshanaha. Out of loving desire to see the Lord, the royal ladies of the Kurus got up on top of the palace and smiling with affection and shyness, they showered flowers upon the Lord. Purport. Shyness is a particular extra natural beauty of the fair sex, and it commands respect from the opposite sex. This custom was observed even during the days of Mahabharata, that is, more than 5000 years ago. It is only the less intelligent persons who are not well versed in the history of the world who say that observance of separation of female and male is an introduction of Mohammedan period in India. This incident from Mahabharata period proves definitely that the ladies of the palace observed strict parda, restricted association with men, and instead of coming down in the open air where Lord Krishna and others were assembled, the ladies of the palace went upon the top of the palace, and from there they paid their respects to Lord Krishna by showers of flowers. It is definitely stated here that the ladies were smiling there on the top of the palace, checked by shyness. This shyness is a gift of nature to the fair sex, and it enhances their beauty and prestige, even if they are of less important family or even if they are less attractive. We have practical experience of this fact. A sweeper woman commanded the respect of many respectable gentlemen simply by manifesting a lady's shyness. Half-naked ladies in the street do not command any respect, but a shy sweeper's wife commands respect from all. Human civilization as conceived by sages of India is to help one free from the clutches of illusion. The material beauty of a woman is an illusion because actually the body is made of earth, water, fire, air, etc. But because there is association of the living spark with matter, it appears to be beautiful. No one is attracted by an earthen doll, even if it is most perfectly prepared to attract the attention of others. The dead body has no beauty because no one will accept the dead body of so-called beautiful woman. Therefore, the conclusion is that the spirit spark is beautiful, and because of the soul's beauty, one is attracted by the beauty of the outward body. The Vedic wisdom therefore forbids us to be attracted by false beauty. But because we are now in darkness of ignorance, the Vedic civilization allows very restricted mixing of woman and man. They say that the woman is considered to be the fire and man is considered to be the butter. The butter must melt in association with fire, and therefore they may be bought together only when it is necessary. And shyness is a check to the unrestricted mixing. It is nature's gift and it must be utilized. Text number 17. Can somebody read? Hare Krishna. Anybody can read?
Sita, oh, I'm sorry. Oh. सीतातपत्रं जग्राह मुक्ता रामाविभूषितं रत्नदण्डं गुडकेश प्रियः प्रियतमस्यः. At that time, Arjuna, the great warrior and conqueror of sleep, who is intimate friend of most beloved Supreme Lord, took up an umbrella which had a handle of jewels and was embroidered with lace and pearls. Purple. Purple. Gold, jewels, pearls, and valuable stones were used in the luxurious royal ceremonies. They are all nature's gift and are produced by hills, oceans, etc., by the order of the Lord. When man does not waste his valuable time in producing unwanted things in the name of necessities. By so called development of industrial enterprises, they are now using pots of gutta percha instead of metals like gold, silver, brass, and copper. They are using margarine instead of purified butter.
Margarine मतलब
And
डालडा.
Acha, okay. Instead of purified butter. And one fourth of the city population has no shelter.
Text number 18. उद्यवस्सात्य किश्चैव व्यजने परमाद्भुते विजेरिथाः नानुरूपानुरूपाश्च निर्गुणस्य गुणात्मनः. It was being heard here and there that the benedictions being paid to Krishna were neither befitting nor unbefitting, because they were all for Absolute, who was now playing the part of a human being. At places there were sounds of Vedic benediction aiming at personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. The benedictions were fitting in the sense that the Lord was playing the part of a human being, as if cousin of Maharaj Yudhishthira. But they were also unfitting because the Lord is absolute and has nothing to do with any kind of material relativities. He is nirguna, or there are no material qualities in him, but he is full of transcendental qualities. In the transcendental world, there is nothing contradictory, whereas in the relative world, everything has its opposite. In the relative world, white is opposite conception of black, but in the transcendental world, there is no distinction between white and black. Therefore, the sounds of benedictions uttered by the learned Brahmanas here and there appear to be contradictory in relation with the absolute person. But when they are applied to the absolute person, they lose all contradiction and become transcendental. One example may clear this idea. Lord Sri Krishna is sometimes described as thief. He is very famous amongst his pure devotees and Makhanchor. He used to steal butter from the houses of neighbors at Vrindavan in his early age. Since then, he is famous as a thief. But in spite of his being famous as a thief, he is worshipped as a thief. Whereas in the mundane world, a thief is punished and is never praised. Since he is the absolute personality of Godhead, everything is applicable to him. And still, in spite of all contradictions, he is the supreme personality of Godhead. अन्योनम् आसीत् सञ्जल्प उत्तमश्लोकचेतसां कौरवेन्द्रः पुरस्त्रीणां सर्वश्रुतिमनोहरः. Absorbed in the thought of transcendental qualities of the Lord, who is sung in select poetry, the ladies on the roofs of all the houses of Hastinapura began to talk of him. This talk was more attractive than the hymns of the Vedas. Yeah. Krishna is Bhavagrahi Janardhana. It is said that Murkho vadati Vishnaya, Dhiro vadati Vishnave, Uvayostu samam punyam, Bhavagrahi Janardhana. So, Krishna, some people who don't know Sanskrit grammar, this meaning of the verse is some people who don't know Sanskrit grammar. Murkho vadati Vishnaya. Actually, it should be said Vishnave. But some people who are not very well versed with grammar, they are in those days they were considered fools. Sanskrit was a very normal thing to know. So, Murkho vadati Vishnaya. Instead of Vishnave, they tell Vishnaya. Dhiro vadati Vishnave. Those who are learned Dhira, they say Vishnave. They know everything. But whether you know everything or you don't know anything, you want to call out Vishnu, with that mode actually, Ubhayostu Samam Punyam. Both of them have equal punya, no problem. Ubhayostu Samam Punyam. Bhavagrahi Janardana. Krishna sees only the bhava that you want to call out to him. That's all. That's what he sees. Similarly, here the ladies, they were calling out to Krishna. Even the Brahmanas were calling out to Krishna. Brahmanas were calling out with the Vedic hymns. They were giving, if you seen in the previous verse, they were giving all the Mangala Shasanams and the, uh, you know, auspicious things to Krishna, auspicious utterances for Krishna, so that Krishna should be prosperous and everything. So that's why Prabhupada is saying it appears contradictory, that how can you give Mangala Shasanams to a person who is completely pure? But it is not completely contradictory also, because Krishna is everything. So it is at the same time contradictory and not contradictory. Similarly, here on the other side, the ladies on the roofs, they were also talking, but this talk is appearing to be more attractive than the hymns of the Vedas, because they are doing it out of pure love, like that. So Prabhupada, what he says in the purport, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that all Vedic literatures, the goal is the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. What is this shloka? कौन बताएगा? ये श्लोका कौन सा है?
अहम
हाँ
वेद अहम एव वेदांत कृते वेदाचार्य
हाँ,
सर स्टार्टिंग ऑनलाइन नॉट बट
सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि
अहम
सन्निविष्टो
दिस
मत्तस्मृतिर्ज्ञानं
अहम
भुवनं च वेदेश्च सर्वैरहमैव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृद्वेदविदेव च.
वेदाचार्य.
So factually, the glories of the Lord are depicted in such literatures as the Vedas, Ramayana and Mahabharata. In the Bhagavatam, they are specifically mentioned in respect to the Supreme Lord. Therefore, by the ladies on the tops of the houses in the capital of the kings of Kuru dynasty were talking about the Lord. Their talk was more pleasing than Vedic hymns. Anything sung in the praise of Lord is Shruti Mantra. Yeah. Whatever way anybody wants to glorify the Lord, it is considered Shruti Mantra. No problem. There are songs of Thakur Narottam Das, one of the Acharyas in the Gaudiya Sampradaya, composed in simple Bengali language. The Gaudiya bhajans which we sing, all these are actually very auspicious. They are equal to Shruti mantras. But Thakur Vishwanath Chakravarti, another very learned Acharya of the same Sampradaya, has approved the songs by Thakur Narottam Das to be as good as Vedic mantras. And this is so because of the subject matter. The language is immaterial, but the subject matter is important. The ladies who were all absorbed in the thought and actions of the Lord developed the consciousness of Vedic wisdom by the grace of the Lord. And therefore, although such ladies might not have been very learned scholars in Sanskrit or otherwise, still whatever they spoke was more attractive than Vedic hymns. The Vedic hymns in the Upanishads are sometimes indirectly directed to the Supreme Lord, but the talks of the ladies were directly spoken of the Lord, and thus they were more pleasing to the heart. The ladies' talks appear to be more valuable than the learned Brahmana's benedictions. So, it's always the bhava. In Bhakti Marga, that is a speciality. Whatever, how much ever expert you may be, if you don't have the consciousness of serving Krishna, then it doesn't matter how much ever expert you are in reciting shlokas, how much ever expert we are in doing anything, playing mridanga, or doing deity worship, or knowing the rules and regulations, or so much learned in the shastras. Whatever talent you may take, कौन सा भी टैलेंट हमको होने दो, अगर भाव नहीं है तो कुछ भी नहीं है. अगर भाव है और हम कुछ भी नहीं है तो भी चलेगा. चैतन्य चरितामृत में एक पास्ट टाइम आता है, जब चैतन्य महाप्रभु साउथ इंडिया जाते हैं, भ्रमण करते हैं, तब उधर एक श्रीरंगम में एक ब्राह्मण से मिलते हैं. तो उधर श्रीरंगम में वो ब्राह्मण जो है गीता पढ़ते रहता है और पढ़ते पढ़ते रोते रहता है. और वो गीता भी एक्चुअली उनको पढ़ने नहीं आता है, वो पढ़ते पढ़ते रोता है. वो किताब भी उल्टा पकड़ के पढ़ते रहता है. चैतन्य महाप्रभु देखते हैं आपको इतना पढ़ने में तकलीफ हो रहा है, तो क्यों आप पढ़ रहे हैं और पढ़ते पढ़ते आप ऐसे क्यों रो रहे हैं? बोले कि मुझे बाकी ब्राह्मण इधर जो रहते हैं वो बहुत हेलना करते हैं कि आपको पढ़ना नहीं आता है, ये नहीं आता है, पर मेरे गुरुजी का आदेश है मुझे कि मुझे भगवत गीता पढ़ना चाहिए। पर मैं जब देखता हूँ कि भगवत गीता जो कृष्णा जो हमारे भक्त अर्जुन के रथसारथी बन के अर्जुन का सेवा कर रहा है, ये सोच के ही मुझे बहुत रोना आता है। तो चैतन्य महाप्रभु बोले आप सच में ब्राह्मण है और आप सच में भगवान के भक्त हैं। क्योंकि जो भाव से भगवान को पहचानता है वही सच्चा भक्त है। बाकी पंडित लोग इतना वेद मंत्र जानते हैं, इतना यू नो भगवान के पास रहते हैं और डायरेक्ट भगवान का सेवा करते हैं। हाँ, ऐसे नहीं बोल सकते उनको भाव नहीं है, पर बोलने का मतलब ये है कि जो जिसको भाव है वो भगवान के करीब है। मैटर नहीं करता है कि वो क्या कर रहा है, कैसे कर रहा है। इट्स इमटेरियल वेदर अ पर्सन is expert in some things or not. If he is really having the consciousness, that pure devotional service attitude, भक्त्या माम जानाति यावम यश्चास्ति तत्वतः, भगवद गीता में भगवान बोलते हैं कैसे मुझे जान सकते हैं, भक्ति भाव से ही जान सकते हैं और कोई रास्ता नहीं है। केचित केवलया भक्त्या वासुदेव परायणा अगम दुन्वंति कार्ष्णेय निहारमेव भास्कर। कितने बार ये अजामिला के पास टाइम में जब आता है, प्रसंग आता है, स्टार्टिंग में ही आता है 6th कैंटो के आई थिंक फर्स्ट चैप्टर के 19 श्लोका है ये भागवतम में। तो उसमें बोलते हैं कि केचित केवलया भक्त्या, ओनली भक्ति से आपके मटेरियल प्रॉब्लम्स दूर हो सकते हैं, ओनली भक्ति से ही भगवान को जान सकते हैं और कोई रास्ता नहीं है। तो ये बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट पॉइंट इधर हमको पता चलता है इससे। द टॉक वॉज मोर अट्रैक्टिव देन द हिम्स ऑफ द वेदास। दे वर वेरी सिंपल डिवोटीज। सवै किलायं पुरुषः सवै किलायं पुरुषः पुरातनो य एक आसीदविशेष आत्मनि अग्रे गुणेभ्यो जगन्नात्मनीश्वरे निमीलितात्मन् निशिसुप्तशक्तिषु।
मैं पढ़ती
नहीं, इधर यूट्यूब लाइव चल रहा है,
पढ़ती हूँ
नहीं ठीक है। Here he is the original personality of Godhead. अभी 7 मिनट। Here he is the original personality of Godhead as we definitely remember him. He all मतलब वो ये लेडीज बात कर रहे हैं, क्या बात कर रहे हैं देखिए। He alone existed before manifested creation of modes of nature, and in him only, because he is the supreme Lord, all living beings merge as if sleeping at night, their energy suspended. तो इधर एक और एक कहानी हमको याद आता है, जैसे ब्राह्मण और एक कॉबलर, ब्राह्मण एंड द कॉबलर। कौन जानता है, कौन बता सकता है स्टोरी, किसको पता है? कॉबलर बोले तो चामार, जूता बनाने वाला।
हाँ ओके,
पता है आपको?
हाँ
बताओ, इधर आके बताओ। बैठो।
नहीं ठीक है बैठ जाओ।
हाँ,
तो एक बार एक नारद मुनि पृथ्वी के ऊपर आते हैं एंड सबको पूछते हैं। उसमें एक कॉबलर रहता है, उसको मिलते हैं। तो कॉबलर उनको पूछता है कि आप बताइए मैं कब वापस जाने वाला हूँ, भगवान के पास में कब जाऊँ। तो उसके बाद उनको एक ब्राह्मण भी मिलते हैं और वो भी सेम चीज़ पूछते हैं कि आप बताइए मैं भगवान के पास कब वापस जाने वाला हूँ। तो भगवान के पास नारद मुनि जाते हैं और उनको पूछते हैं कि ये दोनों कब वापस आने वाले। तो भगवान बोलते हैं वो जो कॉबलर है वो इसी जन्म में मेरे पास आने वाला है, और जो ब्राह्मण है उसको बहुत सारे जन्म लगेंगे मेरे पास आने के लिए। तो नारद मुनि शॉक हो जाते हैं क्योंकि ब्राह्मण तो कंटिन्यूसली आपका सेवा कर रहा है, आपके अल्टर में है, सब कुछ आपके लिए कर रहा है। कॉबलर तो मतलब एक क्या बोलते हैं, लोअर कास्ट वाला है और लोअर काम कर रहा है। तो बोलते हैं कि ठीक है मैं तुमको एक्सप्लेन करूँगा तो तुमको नहीं समझेगा। तो भगवान उसको बोलते हैं कि उनको जाके वो लोग पूछेंगे तुमको कि भगवान क्या कर रहे हैं, तो तुम जाके बोलो कि भगवान सुई जो रहता है, जिधर धागा निकालते सुई का होल में से, वो होल में से हाथी को भगवान निकाल रहे, ऐसे करके जाके बताओ उनको। तो बोलते ठीक है। तो वो फर्स्ट जाके मिलते हैं कॉबलर को, तो उसको मिलते हैं तो बोलते हैं कि भगवान बोले कि तुम इसी जन्म में वापस जाओगे। बहुत खुश हो जाता है, बहुत खुश हो जाता है, नाचने लगता है। फिर वो पूछते हैं भगवान क्या कर रहे थे, आप मिले भगवान को तो भगवान क्या कर रहे थे? तो बोले भगवान सुई का नोक से हाथी को निकाल रहे थे। तो फिर से और खुश हो जाता है और नाचने लग जाता है। बोलते क्यों, तुम बिलीव कैसे कर लिए? तो बोले वो तो भगवान है ना, वो तो कुछ भी कर सकते हैं, उनके लिए क्या इम्पॉसिबल है, वो कुछ भी कर सकते हैं, ये तो बहुत नॉर्मल चीज़ है, उन्होंने इससे भी बड़े बड़े चीज़ें करे हैं करके बोलते हैं। फिर उसके बाद ब्राह्मण के पास जाते, ब्राह्मण को भी सेम चीज़ बताते। तो ब्राह्मण बोलता है पहले तो ब्राह्मण को बताते कि तुमको बहुत जन्म लगने वाले, बहुत नाराज़ हो जाता है। उसके बाद पूछते भगवान क्या कर रहे, तो बताते कि भगवान सुई के नोक में थे, हाथी को निकाल रहे। बोले तो बोलते तुम सच में मिले थे क्या भगवान को? मुझे काय को पागल बना रहे करके बोलते नारद मुनि को, तुम सच में मिले थे क्या? भगवान ऐसे कर ही नहीं सकते, पॉसिबल है क्या? सुई का नोच में से हाथी को कैसे निकाल सकते? कुछ भी बता रहे तुम मिले ही नहीं होंगे भगवान को, कुछ भी बता रहे करके। यू जस्ट डोंट बिलीव नारद मुनि। तो नारद मुनि को रियलाइज़ होता है कि जिसको फेथ नहीं है, ट्रस्ट नहीं है, तो वो कैसे जा पाएगा करके। तो उनको समझ में आता है कि क्यों भगवान बोले कि कबलर एक ही जन्म में आएगा और क्यों उसको इतना जन्म लगेंगे। ब्राह्मण होते हुए भी भगवान को सेवा करते हैं।
फेथ इज द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग, क्योंकि ब्राह्मण को फेथ ही नहीं था। ऑल्दो वो ब्राह्मण का काम कर रहा है, और उसको फेथ नहीं था इतना भगवान के ऊपर कि भगवान ऐसा कुछ कर सकता है। तो इट डजेंट मैटर एक्सटर्नली हम कौन है क्या है, लिटरली मैटर नहीं करता है हम कौन से शरीर में है, कौन से परिस्थिति में है, कौन से आर्थिक परिस्थिति में है, कौन से अवस्था में है। बस भगवान को याद करने से सब शुद्ध हो जाता है। अपवित्र पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थांगतोपि वा स्मरेत पुंडरीकाक्षम सभाभ्यंतर शुचि। भगवान को बस याद करने से सब शुद्ध हो जाता है, तो हमारा जो चेतना है हमारा वो भी शुद्ध हो जाता है। तो इधर जो है ये लेडीज़ भी इतना ये नहीं, उनको सब तत्व पता है। देखो क्रिएशन के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, तो देर आर देर आर टू टाइप्स ऑफ डिसोल्यूशन ऑफ मैनिफेस्टेड कॉस्मोस एट द एंड ऑफ 43 lakhs 20 432 नहीं ये क्या 43 crores 20 lakhs कुछ तो है solar years. When Brahma, the lord of one particular universe, goes to sleep, there is one annihilation. At the end of the Lord Brahma's life, which takes place at the end of Brahma's 100 years of age, in our calculation at the end of again big number
into 30 into 12
80 864 crores into 30 into 12 into 100 solar years, there is a complete annihilation of the entire universe. And in both the periods, both the material energy called Mahat Tattva and marginal energy called Jiva Tattva merge in the person of Supreme Lord. The living beings remain asleep within the body of the Lord until there is another creation of material world, and that is the way of creation, maintenance and annihilation of material manifestation. Material creation is affected by interaction of the three modes of material nature set in action by the Lord, and therefore it is said here that the Lord existed before the modes of material nature were set in motion. In the Shruti Mantra it is said that only Vishnu, the Supreme Lord, existed before the creation, and there was no Brahma, Shiva or other demigods. Vishnu means Mahavishnu, who is lying on the causal ocean. By his breathing only all universes are generated in seeds and gradually develop into gigantic forms with innumerable planets within each and every universe. The seeds of the universes develop into gigantic forms in the way of seeds of banyan tree develop into numberless banyan trees. This Mahavishnu is a plenary portion of Lord Sri Krishna, who is mentioned in Brahma Samhita 5.4 as follows. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the original personality of Godhead Govinda, whose plenary portion is the Mahavishnu. All the Brahmas, the heads of the universe, live only for the period of his exhaling after the universe are generated from the pores of his transcendental body. Thus Govinda or Lord Sri Krishna is the cause of Mahavishnu also. The ladies talking about this Vedic truth must have heard it from authoritative sources. An authoritative source is the only means of knowing about transcendental subject matter definitely. There is no alternative. The merging of the living entities into body of Mahavishnu takes place automatically at the end of Brahma's 100 years, but that does not mean that the individual living beings loses his identity. The identity is there, and as soon as there is another creation by the supreme will of the Lord, all the sleeping inactive living beings are again let loose to begin their activities in the continuation of past different spheres of life. It is called sputo, sputo, Sputothita Nyaya, or awakening from sleep and again engaging in one's respective continuous duty. When a man is asleep at night, he forgets himself, what he is and what his duty is, and everything of his waking state. But as soon as he awakens from slumber, he remembers all that he has to do and thus engages himself again in the prescribed duties. The living beings are also remain merged in the body of Mahavishnu during the period of annihilation, but as soon as there is another creation, they arise to take up their unfinished work. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 8.18 and 19. The Lord existed before the creative energy was set into action. Therefore, the Lord is not a product of material energy. His body is completely spiritual and there is no difference between the body and himself. Before the creation of the Lord remained in his abode, which is absolute and one. Hari Hari. So, this whole concept of creation, whatever is told in this purport, we will have to go through it once again. मतलब इसमें कितना समझ में आया होगा पता नहीं. ओके, सो हम कल कंटिन्यू करेंगे. 8:30 हो गया. ठीक है, और किसी को कुछ बोलना है? यस प्रभु. ठीक है, सो वील एंड हियर नाउ. मंत्रा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय.
जय
शिल प्रभुपाद की जय.
जय